on Wednesdays. If you're seeing this red live button up here, we are live. If not, you're on the replay. That is great too. Just type in hashtag replay or leave me a comment. Let me know that you are here. Today we are doing Crafter's Choice, and as always, we try to be live with you here on Wednesdays. And I say we because our host for the Artistry Collective is Christy from Christy's Crafty Cottage. And then another one of our collective ladies is Leah from Make All the Things With Me. Hello, Tam. Today we won't be having Leah. She's not feeling well, so I don't know if I'm going to stay a little longer or Christy's going to start a little early, or I don't really know what's happening, but hey, we just go with the flow around here. Hello, Chris. All right, so I have not done a noodle box in so long. My noodle box loving heart just really needs to do a noodle box. So this is a Kraft mac and cheese box. I've already cut it down. I've already primed it with some gesso, and it's pretty much ready to go. So I am super excited because I have this beautiful kit that is still gracing my printer as we speak, from Line Dot Arrow. And it is the Floral Scraps mini kit. Tam, did you get this one? It's so beautiful. I love it. And I was struggling to print. I was printing another kit and struggling to print. So I thought, well, okay, fine. I'll print this one. And this one just printed out so beautiful. I have to show you these pages. Hello, Carol. Welcome in. If you guys can do me a favor, share the live out there. Hit the thumbs up button. Do all the things. That would be awesome. Okay. Let's see. Last week I don't think I was live. I've had a crazy last week. It's been appointments for this foot wound still, and yeah, these are the March kits for Line Dot Arrow. So Line Dot Arrow, and they're by Natalie in the Netherlands, and they're just absolutely amazing. When this started to print, I was just like, oh my goodness, look at these beautiful. They look like old vintage ledgers, but really it's just printer paper. Can you believe this? Look at this beautiful work done by Natalie. Ugh. And I love this blue peeking through. It almost is like Uncharted Mariner, just peeking through, begging to come out and play just a little bit. Oh no, you're sitting at the hospital waiting for your son. I hope he's okay. That can be hard. My oldest daughter needed to go to the hospital, and of course, I'm not able to go. So she's at the ER, and she thought she had arrangements made for the babies, and there was some confusion and problems with that. So we ended up with the babies for a little while, and of course, I am stuck, tied to my bed with this wound vac. Oh, look at this one. Look at all these. This vintage aging is just spot on and amazing. So I'm going to cut this down. We're going to lose some of it, but it's okay because we'll be able to use it in the rest of the project. I think the one I wanted to use first of all is this one. I think I'm going to be printing this one a whole bunch. My poor printer better get ready because it's coming. And then this is a mini kit, and there's 22 pages in a mini kit. Do you believe this? 22 pages. Oh, it's infusion day. Well, I hope he feels all right afterwards. I've been okay not getting infusions for a little while. I cut this tag. So this comes with a big tag, and I printed out 2 of these. So I've already got those cut out. And this is all just on regular printer paper. I tried to print some ephemera on 110-pound paper, cardstock paper, and my printer absolutely did not want to have that. Look at these beautiful tickets. They're already all distressed and aged for you. You literally just have to cut them out and have a play. Beautiful butterflies, because what junk journaler does not need beautiful butterflies? Beautiful tags, and like I said, it was still printing because there's 22 pages. And even this cover sheet, I love having the cover sheets because if you don't use all of the kit that you print out, you can put it all together like this, clip it or put it in a file folder or an envelope or even a Ziploc bag or however you store them, and you at least know who they came from. However, if you decide that you will know who it is, you can also use these as like collage strips, and I love that. Hey, Christy's here. Christy, I can't see my messages now, so Leah's not joining us tonight. She's not feeling well. And So I didn't know if you wanted me to stay a little longer, if you want to come a little early, or if you're just going at your normal time. I don't know. I told everybody we just really like to go with the flow and do what we can. So sending lots of love and hugs to Leah. She's got some sinus stuff going on. That's no fun. So let's get started. I kind of have an idea of what I want to do, but we'll see. That's usually what I start with some crazy idea and just go with the flow. Now, like I said, this was just a Kraft mac and cheese box. It doesn't look very good right now. I put some gesso on the outside. I cut half of the box, this half off, top and bottom off to prep. First time here. Well, hello and welcome in, Teresa. We hope you'll hang out and stay around. I am a mixed media and junk journal artist, and I'm part of the Artistry Collective group. And on Wednesdays, we do lives together. It includes myself, Christy from Christy's Crafty Cottage, who is our host that brings the collective all together, and normally Leah from Make All the Things with me. Leah is our DIY girl. She does a lot of like home stenciling projects and just really cool home decor. Christy does home decor, mixed media, and has started junk journaling, which is awesome. And I'm a longtime resident paper crafter who dabbles in just about anything paper, but mostly junk journals as of the last couple of years. So, all right. So let's get to it. Let's get this on here. I'm going to go ahead and just glue this down, and then we'll trim around the excess. I want to try to preserve some of this on the spine because that's how these papers are speaking to me. It looks to me like, you know, her envision was that this was just an old ledger book that was maybe folded there. And, you know, we're getting to peek inside of these old documents or something. And, I just love it. I don't know what it is. I used to not be so nostalgic. I used to be like, ugh, old. Now I absolutely love it. I think something happens when you get a little bit older. I don't know. Hi, Regina. Or maybe it's just that I started playing with it a little more or something. I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to try and glue like half of this down because I just realized I also wanted to put in a closure, but I'm trying to decide. This is such beautiful silk. My friend Tamara from Tamara's Designs that's here sent me this silk. And I didn't use it for my other project, but I think it would be really lovely with this. I just don't know that I want it to go under the paper to be a closure, or if I think I'm going to let it be over the paper so I don't have to lose any of that silk. So we're going to go ahead and glue this down. I'm going to use a little bit of this clear tacky gel. I love the clear gel from Aline's, but I lost my lid somewhere, so I have to like unclog it every time, and then it's actually been really runny because I think it doesn't have the lid, which to my surprise, because I thought it would be like super thick. And yes, this is, I believe it's a water-based glue. I don't know what it says. All-purpose adhesive, dries clear. It's a gel, so it does wrinkle the paper as far as I'm concerned, but that's okay with me. If you want to read all the things, you can screenshot it. I don't know. I don't mind the paper wrinkles because that's the look I'm going for. If you mind them, there are so many other glues out there, and you can just try the one that works for you. Okay, so, and I don't care right now if the edges are nice and glued down. I will eventually make sure I get them all glued down, but one thing you can do to help some of the glue as far as like the seeping and all of that stuff through your paper is spread it around like I'm doing right here. And if you're using fabric, you'll want to spread it around too, because this liquid glue, I have glued fabric with this clear gel tacky glue many a times, and it works great. But you just want to spread it around so you don't get the fabric staining. Unless if that's what you're going for, then there you go. You know how to achieve it. Okay. So yes, my friends, sorry I was not here last week. It's been a crazy week. My older daughter had to go to the ER. She now has to have an outpatient surgery for a cyst removal. That's at her tailbone, so really uncomfortable. Yes, recycling the boxes is fabulous. My younger daughter got her own apartment, which has been exciting, except for she was moving because she got her keys on the 1st. And it all happened very, very fast. She got approved like right before the 1st. So it's just been kind of chaos. And then, of course, I still have all my regular limitations and things right now for this wound vac on my foot, but it is getting better. They keep telling me every time, just better and better. So yeah, isn't that fun? She's our last one to move out, so we will truly be an empty nest now, which is odd to think about. We haven't seen a lot of her the last year-ish because she's 22 and she kind of comes and goes, and she works nights and sleeps days, and so yeah, but she's yeah, just lots going on, Regina. That's right. Yeah, I kind of had to deal with all of that and make sure everybody is okay. We are all okay, so that's a blessing. We'll take it. Okay, so let's pay attention to where this spine is. I'm going to pull this back a little bit. Hopefully you guys can see, and maybe I can too. Okay, I want to have this piece like on the spine, so it kind of looks like my my book has kind of this aging wear down the spine. Okay. We're just going to give it a good pat down. You can use a brayer. I love to keep this little mini brayer handy. Oh, it's all tangled in my... There we go. So that I can kind of distribute that glue underneath there all the way to the edges. And it really does help. If you don't have a brayer, you can use your acrylic block and just kind of run it over here from like a stamp. Or just use your hands and just press it across really good. Use what you have. I suppose if you had a big rolling pin and a lot of room, you could do that too. I won't want to... Oh, see, I had a lot of glue seepage out there. It's on my paper, on my counter. It's everywhere. And I still have one corner not glued down. Crazy how that works. Okay, so let's cut this out just a little bit. I won't want to throw away these corners. There was some cute numbers like this up here that I'll want to keep. See how it's wrinkling? See this? I'm good with that, but if you're not, like I said, maybe this glue isn't the one for you. But you can just keep smoothing it out. I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. And then, I mean, you could wrap it around if you really wanted to. I didn't leave myself much room at the bottom to wrap because it was kind of where I wanted to. Now I'm trying to decide. Do I want to wrap it? Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap it. We'll just wrap it. I'm going to lose those numbers. But you know what? The beauty of a digital is that if there was something that you really liked, you can always print more. So we'll just go ahead and do that. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't give myself much room down here at the bottom, but that's okay. We'll just have to make it work. And the reason I decided I want to wrap it is because especially if you're recycling some of these boxes, being able to have this extra paper covering these ends can really help both for an appealing looking book and also for some extra support. It keeps that box just a little sturdier as it turns into a book. Okay. So, yeah, see, not much room, but just enough to cover down there. And then I think I'm going to do it like this so it kind of mimics that other side. We'll have to see. We may have to cut off some of this end, but that's okay. Now, normally I like my corners mitered, and I use this fun little 5-in-1 tool, but since I didn't give myself ample enough room, we're just going to make it work. What is going on? Why is this not going in there today? Ugh. I keep dropping my tools down into the abyss that is my floor, which is not an understatement. It seriously is a mess down there. I need to spend about, I don't know, 2 days on the floor just cleaning up. Oh, gosh. Okay. Now, here's where a lot of people will use their double-sided tape. I do it sometimes, and sometimes I don't. I can't really tell you one way or the other why or why not. Here, I don't really have a lot of room for double-sided tape. And the tape that I have right now is really wide. So I'm just going to go in with some Barely Arts glue and get this hopefully stuck down a little better. Down here at the bottom where it's so tiny. I've got about 3 new books I'll be starting. And my old projects are like, what? I saw this meme and it was like the looks your other projects give you as you start a new one. I'm like, oh, isn't that the truth? But, you know, we've got a new collaboration started with Rach and Bella Crafts. It's the 100 Days of Junk Journaling Ideas. Such an amazing lineup to be a part of. I'm always just, I don't know, like so blown away, especially with some of these bigger named artists, and they even know my name, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they know my name. Not that I'm fangirling, I'm still just always in awe, like, oh my gosh, they know who I am. And I know that they know because I'm usually, when I communicate with them for the collaboration, I use my page name, and they will spell out my real name and even spell it correctly. I'm just always in awe. Like, wow, these ladies are just real paper crafters too. It's just awesome. Okay. All right, so we really want this to be able to glue down. And if I don't get it glued down as good as I need to, I can always kind of pull in more glue as I put more paper on the inside. And I'm going to make some snips here at the spine. I like to make a little triangle on either side where it's going to lay. It's kind of like mitering your corners, but it really helps to have it lay a little straighter. I don't know where my good scissors are right now, but these are Mrs. Grossman and they will work. Okay, so right here, see our spine fold is here and here. I don't know if you guys can see that good because of the video, but we're just going to make a little triangle snip. Each side, I take one side of the blade on the other side, one side of the scissor on each side of the line where I want to make a cut and to make my triangle so that they just lay there. And usually it just pops right out. But it doesn't want to because we're live. That's always the way. I hope everybody's week is doing okay. Mine, I'm hoping for a little less eventful week than we had last week. A little unbearable last week, but we made it through. Everybody's okay, and we're trying to get back to whatever this new normal is. So I thank you all, those of you who were sending me messages and well wishes and all the things. Much appreciated. We could feel the love over here. Okay. Why am I not getting enough glue? Right there. We just need the glue right there. Just come on. Basically, this paper is just to provide extra support and to cover those edges. So we just want to get it to lay down a little bit. Okay, there we go. We got lots of glue going in there. It should lay down. Now you can use a little bone folder or a little scraper thing or whatever you might want to use. Like I've seen some people use these just to try to get it to lay flat. Stay where it's supposed to stay. You got to train the paper. Did anybody see Tim Holtz's live today? His beautiful palette paper is just amazing. I love it. I haven't actually seen any of it in person in my own hands, but I need to. I was drooling. Hey, Mama Christine's in the house. Oh, you can comment. Awesome. Ugh, thanks, Tam. I'm awesome too. I know, but it's just amazing when some of these ladies... hi, Karen. Some of these ladies that have been in the industry for for a really long time, and they know my name. Still just kind of creeps me out a little bit. Like, whoa. I don't even think they knew my name when I had a store, so just to think that the fact that they like know who I am now, and sometimes yeah, they comment on some of my comments and things in the collaboration groups, and it's just amazing to be among friends and peers and with some of these bigger names. I don't know, just still weird. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and fold this flap, and then I'm still gonna make my triangles here. I know I just put glue there, so my scissors will get a little gunky, but we're not gonna freak out about it. We're just gonna, it'll be okay. See, if we don't put this triangle here, when you go to fold it, see what happens in the corner, it gets all kind of bunchy. So I don't like that. I like it to lay flat. So that's how you can get rid of that little bunchiness, bulkiness, whatever you want to call it. It's a nest that I don't need. There we go. The fabrics were gorgeous. And I'm not even really one that typically plays with a lot of yellow or orange or even red. Red sometimes can be really hard to play with because of all the different pigmentations of red. But everything was just so beautiful. And I'm kind of excited for the one that, what did he say it's called? At the end, it's going to be like a big sampler, like a variety of colors. I'm excited for that one. I didn't even know he was going live today. That's the kind of, I normally know and I'm waiting. My week last week was just a lot. Okay, so let's see. Now here, we can cut these off if we want to cut these extra off. I'm going to leave it though because it's not really bunching right there. Well, is it bunching? I don't know. Let's trim it. Let's just trim it. So here's where you like debulk. You can cut off this excess if you don't want it there. Sometimes I'll leave it because these boxes can tend to be a little bit thin. If you're not using a noodle box like me, you can use a cereal box. You can use any kind of box. So maybe I've had people say, well, I don't eat processed foods, so I don't have any of those boxes. Okay, that's great, but I'm sure you have something else, maybe a medicine box, a Band-Aid box, headphones come in packaging, like everything comes with packaging these days. So just look in your recycle bin, see what you can salvage and create, and it's wonderful. Or maybe you just use chipboard. I have several chipboard base kits, and I'm working on selling those. I was right in the middle of trying to get them all packaged and cut. All the spines and templates are cut now, and I've got all the covers and backs cut. So I just have to package them and remember the pricing on them, and they'll be good to go. So if you are one that doesn't like to, pizza box, doesn't like to start with a recycled book or repurposing a book. I know there's some people, it's just not their jam, and that's okay. Doesn't have to be for everybody. You can definitely use chipboard or, recycle some of this packaging. The world is full of a lot of packaging. In fact, my nurse and I were talking today that as a patient, when I was in the hospital, but even now at home, I can't believe how much just garbage has to be wasted to do my care. When I was having infusions, it was tons of one-time use plastic for tubing and syringes and IVs and PICC line stuff and bandages and gloves and all the things. Just so much waste. So it is refreshing when we can try to use some of this waste in junk journaling. I think that's some of what makes me feel a little better. Kind of trying to do some sort of good here. And it's always fun to see what I can come up with as far as, okay, well, you were a noodle box, but what else can you be? Okay, so go ahead and take a look at your corners. Make sure that you like them. See all the wrinkling? I'm not worried about that. I don't mind that. Some people don't like that at all. That comes from the glue. The glue mixing with the paper. The paper is just soaking up the glue. If you set your printer paper in a puddle of water it would do the same thing too. So when you have water-based glue, that's what it does. So that's how you get those wrinkles. Lots of ways you can try to get rid of them. Some of it's kind of hard. Scraping like I'm doing now, which I'm not doing that really necessarily to get out the glue. I want to spread out the glue, or to get out the wrinkles. I want to spread out the glue to make sure the glue is all the way out here to my ends. And so sometimes this is just air as well, trapped in between the paper and your board. Typically, I put a lot of layers on my books, so you know, it's just background noise. And sometimes I'll even embrace these in junk journals and give them a little ink. And it kind of helps you to get those more vintage wrinkles. Now this paper in particular doesn't really need any help with looking more vintage because it is a vintage beauty. If you love vintage, these pages are just gorgeous. They were printing out and I was so excited. Let's use a little, do we want to go scorched timber along the edges? Maybe we do. I had found my frayed burlap because it was missing, and now I can't find it again. I think I buried it. It used to have its own little spot here. It was in the frayed burlap Whitsack. So that it was in protection, so I always knew where it was because it is literally my favorite for just about everything. But I think this is the world telling me to branch out, experience some other colors. We're not going to go too far. We're going to go to pumice stone because I love pumice stone. Okay, so like I was saying with you could use an acrylic block, so like your stamping block. You can always just run this over as well. Can help you get all of your creases and flatten out those edges. I've seen some people use those little stamp rubbers that not rubber, silicone handle things that kind of look like the air hockey paddles. So you can do that too. At this stage though, where there is a bunch of, I've got a few air pockets, and I've got some of those air pockets are going to have glue. And if you mix that with this thinner paper, it could cause a tear. So just, you know, be mindful. And if it tears, it's all right. Paper layers, and you're probably, if you're me, going to put something over it anyways. Because that's what I do on my covers is I layer them. So with all kinds of things. And I think this one, we're going to put a tag on the outside and see what that can look like. I don't know if, yeah, that's not making too much of a difference there, but it is kind of giving it a little bit of some frosting that I kind of like. I hope you guys see that there, how it's got a little bit of, it's frosted and down here it's not. So it's kind of pulling back a little bit of that darkness, which is okay. Adding a little light. Some of it's not going to show, so I'm not going to do too much of that. Hello, Sharon. You love vintage papers. These ones are from frayed burlap left Whitsack. Yeah. Oh no. Vintage papers are from Line Dot Arrow this time. That's who I'm using. I'm on her design team, as is Tamara from Tamara's Designs, and we love all of her work. That's Natalie from the Netherlands. She does beautiful work. Okay. I am very blessed to be on a few, like a handful of design teams, and all of the ladies that I work with do absolutely beautiful, beautiful stuff. It's not very often that something they do doesn't inspire me, so yeah. What are you guys drinking today? I have iced mocha, and it's so good. She is on Etsy, I believe, still, and Coffee, the KOFI site. And again, it's Line Dot Arrow. And this one is the Frapps Scraps mini kit for March. If you go to her Facebook group, it's free. Line Dot Arrow Facebook group. And she posts challenge papers and things in there. And you don't have to participate in the challenge to have the papers that she provides for her members for free in there to use her freebies. So it is a good way to kind of play with them a little bit, see if you like them, and to get some freebies. So, and to meet other people that like the same things. So if you're looking for a place to hang out and get some freebies and play in some challenges and get inspired, yeah, there you go. Yeah, and she's on Etsy as well. Okay, so I want to put another paper back here. Let's look at some of these other beautiful ones. I just love these ledger ones. They're so beautiful. But then she's got some that are not so evident that it's a ledger. This one's really faint back here. So this could be, I love how that's laying, but I'm going to cut that off, I think. So, yeah. We could go up here like this and have this piece, and then that would be left over. So I think I'm going to do that. And it's going to cut off that rose down there, but that's okay. All right, so let's put some glue. I'm going to use this glue around the edges. And then we're going to fill in with our tacky glue. Now, sometimes I fill in with tacky glue just because it's a little bit cheaper than this glue. And it does provide really good adhesion, but sometimes it just doesn't dry as fast. So just like you would use your sticky tape, your double-sided tape, like the tape for today, glue for tomorrow, you can do that with 2 different wet glues as well. So, so see in the center part here, I'm just going to go in and add a little bit of my tacky glue. Just because it's fast, it pours out, it's liquid, it's great, all the good things. But I really want those edges to stick tight. I think this, like right away, I think this glue is going to help it stick on there, or I wouldn't be using it. But I kind of want it to stick right away. I got things to do. Like, come on. But I also like glue that gives me a second. I need to have, that's why when people ask me, what glue should I use? Well, you need to know what kind of gluer you are. I like to have a second to kind of rearrange my things if I need to, make sure I get exactly where I was hoping to get it, or at least somewhere in the ballpark. And some glue does not really allow you the time to do that. It's so quick drying that you don't really get a chance to go, oh, no. So you just kind of need to know, like, what kind of glue are you? And when we're using, like, repurposing and reusing, sometimes you also have to account for the fact that it's not going to be perfectly straight because we are repurposing. So you might have some pieces like this one that are not straight, even though you put it on there straight. And that's okay, because that's why we have lace and trims and all the things. But it's also nice to just be able to have a second to try and reposition it if that's what needs to be done. Okay, let's see. And then I need to figure out where my creases are here. And see, right now I can still pick this up, even though it was glued onto paper, and try and get some of those wrinkles out and maybe even reposition it now that I trimmed it down a little bit. Oh, Sharon, I am tired. I was telling everyone last week was just a lot, but yeah, my body is just super weak. My blood pressure has been really low. Today it was 88/60 when she checked it. And she's like, are you eating? And I am. I'm eating just fine. I've been a little nauseous this week because my blood sugar is all crazy, but I'm eating. Mr. Frapps has been doing a wonderful job at making meals. And last night we had the most wonderful baked spaghetti. I love baked spaghetti. So, yeah. It's just this crazy pot cycle that my body is on. All right, let's make sure this is cut off here just a little bit. Okay, now this is not going to be straight. I know for some of you that would be not okay, but like I said, I usually put trims down there, so it's not going to be showing in the end really anyway, so not enough to even be worrying about it. Did I get it over the edge there too? I did. Oh, come on. If you are the measuring kind, yes, you could have just measured inside of here, cut your paper down, and call it a day. I mostly am kind of I can measure. I know how to measure. I typically use a trimmer. But a lot of times when I'm doing these kinds of books, even if you are the measuring kind, it can be kind of frustrating because, like I said, these, if you're using file folders or envelopes, or this is a noodle box, those kinds of things aren't going to be perfectly square, or perfectly straight, or perfectly anything perfect. So just, you know, take a second and get your frame of mind in there, and know that everything layers. So if it's not going the way that you want it, that's why we have lace and trims and beautiful ribbons and buttons and other paper. You can always layer over something. Okay, and so these parts, when I'm on the insides of these, sometimes I don't want to lay straight because of the spine bend. So if you can kind of get your paper creased in here, and then get this to go, it'll be okay. Now, on your spines, you can put anything, fabric, paper, tapes. Sometimes I like to put some fun tape. Anything you want to support your spine. I think this one's going to be great with just some paper, though, and I love this paper, so it's win-win. And I love how this still wound up on the crease there, so it looks like, you know, maybe it is kind of vintage-like. I still have some bubbles, but that's okay. All right, so let's get this. I'm going to go ahead and put some extra glue around. I say extra glue when I have paper stuck to my fingers. Good deal. Extra glue around the edges. The edges are always what I worry about getting glued down. Sometimes not right away, because if I wanted to put a book plate or something on here, I wanted to layer, I could still do it and then like lift this paper and then put it back down so it could cover all my construction. So that's kind of nice. Sometimes I will leave the ends to glue later after I know I'm done. But for right now, I'm just really trying to get everything stuck down. So, and if you don't have hardware or haven't played with metals or don't want to play with metals, whatever the case might be, don't worry. Natalie's got you covered, because in her kits, she always includes some fun faux hardware. And I think it's absolutely gorgeous. You can kind of see it in here. See these little book plates? And then you just cut those out. You can attach them with brads, or don't attach them with brads if you're not a metal using crafter. It's nice to have something that kind of looks like it, but isn't. Okay. Oh, Mariah's doing good. She's waiting for a surgery date, and she found out it's going to be outpatient surgery, which is wonderful, especially considering she has babies at home. They've been acting out a little bit because they're worried about their mom, and things have been crazy. She's had extra people staying at the house to help her out a little bit while she's been sore. And but the kids are good. She's doing good. She's not septic anymore. She's been taking her antibiotics, so that's good. Just waiting for the surgery date and to see what's going to happen with that. So, and Alyssa's liking her new apartment. So lots of crazy change going on. But we're all keeping on, and I think I'm I don't know, for a little while I was feeling a little frustrated and depressed. Like I haven't even been into Alyssa's apartment. However, with the wonderful technology that we have today, I got to have a FaceTime tour of her new apartment and see how she's setting things up. And I've been helping her look for furniture online and look for things that she needed online. Making some lists of things as we talk about them. So those are things I can do while I have to basically be stuck to the house. So, and really I thought one day I was going to help her pack up some boxes, and I packed one out of like her things that were in my bathroom. And then I was just too tired. I'm like, wow, I'm not so helpful. But Mr. Frapps, of course, has been running around and disassembling furniture and reassembling furniture and moving things because we have a truck. So it's kind of fun. We didn't really get to do that with the other two kids. They moved in with other family members, and we didn't really get to help them like set up a house or anything like that. So new experience, but the last one to leave the nest. So that will be interesting. Yeah, he's been running all around, Sharon. And then he's still been back to make sure I have my meds and make sure that my nurses are able to get in and that I get my meals and I'm comfortable and I'm not trying to do anything dumb, because I keep thinking I can do this, and then I get halfway through and I'm almost ready to faint. My nurse today said she thinks that's probably because of my blood pressure being too low. So I just have to continue being careful. Everybody tells me you cannot fall. You cannot fall. Yeah. It's been a year. We're only 2 months in. Okay, so this is one of Natalie's beautiful tags, and I thought I want to see what it would look like if this tag kind of became the shape of the edge of my book over here. So I haven't figured out what that exactly means. Do I want to cut this and make this go this way? Oh, I didn't really think it through, guys. I just thought, that'll be cool. Wouldn't it be cool if, kind of sound like Tim says sometimes, wouldn't it be cool if I did this? Oh. And then I'm thinking some lace under here. And then I have this one cut, so it'll do this side and kind of sandwich this tag in here. And then I could put a brad on either side through there, but I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe we'll put an eyelet, because then there won't be brad tabs. Let's get an eyelet. We'll put 2 eyelets in first. I think I have these. I have these wide eyelets. That would be kind of fun. Let's see. Is that the right color, though? Oh, yeah. Look at that. That'll be fun. And it'll go right there on both sides. Now, these are 3/16 eyelets, even though they have a wider rim. You still can set them just the same. I like to use the setting. Let me show you. Oh, I need the other crocodile. My one is packed for my room. Ugh, I don't know how. I keep moving stuff back and forth between my room and here and my room and here because I spend a lot of time in my room right now. I have a little table set up in there. And so some stuff is here, some stuff is there. It's so frustrating. Okay, I'm not finding it in there. So I have this big bag full of things that I've been using my little scooter basket for to tote back and forth. It's like the crafting railway. Also right now, I'm part of my no balance issues. I can't really carry things while I walk, which isn't new. I haven't been able to do that for a while. But now it's especially worse because I also can't put any weight on my right foot yet either. So it just feels like one thing after the next after the next. Okay, here is the Ryobi. Stay, stay, stay there. There it is. It's all the way at the bottom of the bag. Of course. Here we go. Okay, so we want to use the 3/16 setting, which is C3. And instead of doing 3, I'm going to put it on this one here, which is 2. That one seems to be a little more gentle with some of the more delicate eyelets. And I'm going to open this depth guide because I want to be able to get in to where this hole is, or about there. There we go. See, not too bad. And then we'll do the other one. Now, sometimes if I'm doing a smaller eyelet, I'll ink around this just so it looks uniform if I miss the circle to punch it out. You can use a regular hole punch or whatever you've got. Ooh, look at that one. That one's like spot on. Not bad for a blind lady. Okay. There we go. Okay, let's do this. We'll just put a little ink in there. And there they are. 1, 2. Turn this guy back on. Fit well. Oh, what a dope. I put that pop it out back in the bag. Listen, we're not done. Okay, so there we go. And you can see it does cover up a little bit of that wording around, but it still gives it a nice, interesting something else to look at, and it gives us more of that color. And then when we squeeze here, we're going to go slow. So you can kind of feel when it squishes, and if you keep going, you're just going to dent this up. Now, if you want to dent it up because you want it to look vintage, great. If you don't, you're just trying to curl this back and flatten it out to set it. All right, so I'll put this guy in here. And even though it's the wide, you're still going to put this prongy piece through the top. So through the colored side. Over here, is the back colored as well? It might be because it's powder coated. Yeah. Okay, well, this is the barrel and this is the bottom. So you want the barrel or the bottom to go through like this. And then you want that prongy piece to be on the top. Always. And then you're just going to squeeze again, kind of slow until you feel it. You kind of feel it in your hands. And it curls just beautifully. Okay, now we are done with that. Okay, and this one I still see. I see some white here. Another nice thing about Natalie's kits is she uses the Brother Scan and Cut herself personally to cut out her ephemera and things. So all of her tags and ephemera, let's take a peek. And just so you can see what I'm talking about. These butterflies, for instance. Ooh. Did you say 61? But you still have a chance of snow. Wow. Oh, Tam, I can't wait to see. Hi, Phyllis. So anyways, Natalie uses the Brother Scan and Cut. So you can see these nice dark edges around here. So if you have a cutter like that, these images are perfect for getting into there and letting those digital die cutters do its thing. Ohio is bipolar. Oh, I think Sharon was saying Rochester is kind of crazy like that too. She said on one of her lives the other day that they even had snow in June once. Crazy. We had snow on Halloween one time. Not a lot of snow. It was just, but it was enough that it was cold for the kids trying to wear their costumes and things. Now see this line here? I think I'm going to try and follow that because then my tag will just kind of sit right in the inside there. And I don't know that I want to cut this up here. I think because I just want this tag to be kind of an addition, I think. However, one thing I did not think about is the closure. Because if I put this here, and I put this here and kind of sandwich it in, and I have this paper hanging over here, when we go to tie this, it's just going to fold the paper down. So I don't really want to do that much over the edge, I don't think. But we could cut this out on this line here so that it's still flush with the edge, and then that would clean up our edges as well. So there's a line right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut there. I kind of wanted these tags to hang over the edge, but if we want to have a closure, I would have had to do these out of chipboard or cardboard or back them with it in order to do that. So now I'll still get the same look though. It'll look like it's a tag just kind of coming from the side here. And maybe if I put like some book corners or something on the ends, it'll still look cool. And we could even make this a little tuck spot if I wanted to, but I think I'm going to put lace there. And this way, I guess, in cutting it down a little bit, I still get to see more of that background. So that's great. And I mean, I suppose we could have also just wrapped this around. You can fold it and wrap, but I still kind of want to see. I wanted it to be kind of mimicked here on the back side. So I think I'm still going to... Do I want to cut here? If I do that, then it's not exactly mimicking. So if we cut from over here, that'll be weird. Nope, I'm not going to worry about it that much. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this piece off here, just like we just did, and we'll just glue it on the back side. Actually, I could put it going upside down like this way, but then it puts my eyelet at the bottom. Do I care? Or we could put it like this. I think it looks better like this. Yeah, we're just going to put it like this. We could make that a pocket since we cut it. And on that side, it can have a purpose. On the front side, it does have a purpose. It just looks cool. Adds interest. If ever somebody says, but why? Why do you do that? Well, because it adds interest. That's always a junk journaler's why. Because I want it there. You liked it upside down? Yeah, I think the only thing I wasn't liking with it upside down, and the reason I was thinking upside down is because then my straight edge would be over here, like on the front side. I don't know if I like that eyelet down there. But it could still be cool like that too. It was considered a blizzard. Another storm rolls in Thursday, early Friday. Ugh, gosh, winter. It's that darn groundhog's fault. He said more winter. Okay, I think I'm going to go this way though. And then I'll think I put a little bit of lace on this edge here once I get it glued in. And we'll figure out some lace on this side here too once we get it glued in. So let's lay this flat while we still can. Now, let's chit-chat about the cover. Sometimes I don't work on the cover right away because it can make it be really bumpy when you're trying to work on the rest of your journal, depending on how much things you put on the front. Like if you're just putting paper over paper over paper over paper, it won't be that bumpy and lumpy. I'm going to glue this, but I'm not going to glue the end because I want to be able to decide if I want to tuck lace underneath or put it on the top. Anyways, you want to kind of get a basic construction down. And then I say do the cover when it speaks to you. And that was kind of what I saw first about this project. It's already a little different than what I could see when I was going to make it. And that's okay. You know, I always just say, let the project go where it's telling you to go. So, and sometimes it takes you places you didn't even imagine. And that's okay. I think that's the fun part of it, really. All right. And see down here, see where it was all uneven and whatever. Hey, there's Leah with Make All the Things With Me. Thank you so much for whatever that little trinkety thing is that you just did. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I hope you're feeling better, my friend. I didn't see if Christy said if she wanted to stay on a little bit longer or if she wanted me to stay on longer. That's what I mean. If she wanted to come early, if I was supposed to stay on longer, or if we're just ending at regular time. No worries. It sounds like you need your sleep, my friend. Yeah, there's all kinds of sinus and flu things going around, so you do what you need to do. I imagine working in the dental field, it is hard to stay completely healthy because I know you wear gloves and masks and all the things, but you're still in people's mouth. I was going to make this a pocket. Can't be a pocket if you put glue. And see, I even have my thumb there, but it wasn't real aggressive. Normally, I put my fingers where I don't want to glue because of just that. When you're chit-chatting away, sometimes you forget what you're doing. All right, here we go. Okay, so let's put a glue at the bottom again. Okay, and I want to make sure this is down enough that it's covering my little issues down here. And so you see, it's not right at the top and it's not right at the bottom, but it's not right in the middle either. I know that would bug some people, my husband included. He really likes things to be nice and straight and tidy and all the things. Yeah, me, not so much. Okay, so we're going to put some more glue up here around where this eyelet is so it can lay as flat as it can. There we go. Oh, good. Making gift bags. Fun. Yes, Easter and spring comes all kinds of fun ways to paper craft. I haven't been making a lot of those things yet, but just trying to stay afloat. I have a lot of projects going on this month. There's a new collaboration going on called the 100 Days Junk Journal Ideas. And it has so many crafters involved and so many wonderful, wonderful creatives. I just feel so excited to be a part of that. It's hosted by Rachel Bella Crafts, and as you guys know, I've been on her design team for quite some time, so she keeps me around, which is wonderful. I love her. Shout out to Rachel. Okay. All right, so that's fun. We've got our tag here, and that's the cover. I love that. And I want to put some of this really dark lace. This is actually like a navy blue lace. I hope it's showing up as blue on the camera. I have black paper here on the bottom, so you can maybe kind of see the difference there. Except for it came off the little spoolie thing I had it on, so now it's just everywhere. Okay, and I was thinking some right here would be good on this edge as well. Just to kind of, and then it can be like a little hidden pocket under there. And you can do a lot of things with lace as far as the way that you glue it down. If you're thinking it's too long or it's too thick or it's too wide or it's too whatever, you can cut it. You can also bunch it up like a little ruffly thing, which I don't think I'm going to do. I think I'm just going to go ahead and glue it down. But I want to make sure I glue it down so that I don't seal the pocket shut. That's not what I'm looking to achieve here. Where'd my silicone thing go? Yeah, one to use, one to lose. I am always having issues finding tools, no matter what workstation I'm at. I can be at somebody's nice, clean area and still not figure out where I put my stuff. I don't know why that is with paper crafting, but I think it's just because we have so many things. All right, well, we'll just kick it old school and hope we don't burn. Okay. So this lace is the, I think they call it button, or Tam, help me out. It's not, it's not eyelet lace, it's button lace, I think, right? I don't know. I'm kind of like Tim Holtz in regards to the fabric world. It's still kind of, I don't really get all the terms, but I do play with it for the medium that it is, and for the things that it adds to my crafting world. Okay, there we go. Press this down into that glue and hope that I can still open this back here just a little bit. So here we can tuck a note, maybe to the recipient if you're giving this journal as a gift, or you know, maybe just an extra little to from tag or something like that. Okay, I'll go ahead and cut this off. And I think this is still going to give me some trouble. So if you want to avoid some of this, you can cut these into 3 pieces. So you could have your front panel, your center panel, and your back panel. So then you won't have this extra paper here. But once I put the pages in, usually it works itself out and isn't as visible as what we're seeing right now. Okay, so let's see here. I don't mind if this piece right here, this wording right here, is not seen. I kind of like this ledger look more than this wording. So I would be okay if this piece of lace just kind of goes right there. And you can kind of decide if you want it to go all the way or if you just want it to be where that tag is. What do you guys think? All the way up, like so. Or just where the tag is down here. I think it almost kind of looks odd putting it right there, but I was excited to kind of call out a tag on the cover. You don't know the correct name of it either. That's all right. I think it's button lace. I don't remember. It's not vintage or anything, though. I think I just got it online. I do like it, though. I think I'm going to go all the way up. I hope that's what you guys were thinking, too. All the way. Yep. Mama Christine says go all the way. All right, we'll do it. And then I like that we can still see more of this. Because, I mean, you could put it just on the edge here. But then you get to see a little less of this. And typically I put lace on my spine, which you still could if you want to. It does kind of add a nice little extra there, but I think I want it here. I don't know why or where I was trained to. Must have been somewhere early on in my paper crafting years to cover those edges, because I always seem to do just that. I try to cover any loose edge with a trim, another paper, a lace, some sort of a finish. That did not go. Oh, this is stretchy lace. Okay, let's cut another piece that's just a little hair longer. Otherwise, we're not going all the way up. And don't pull on it. Apparently, I was pulling on it because when I let go, it shrunk back down. Okay, here we go. Let's do it. I'll put some glue right up here. Okay, so technically right now it's supposed to be Leah from Make All the Things With Me, her time. She's not feeling well today. I did not see if Christy is going on earlier. Leah, did you see, is Christy going to go on earlier, or am I just supposed to stay later? I didn't see. I don't want to take up her time, but so we do a 3 collective collaboration on Wednesdays here to bring these lives to you for the Artistry Collective. It's put together by Christy from Christy's Crafty Cottage, and includes myself, Leah from Make All the Things With Me, and she's normally after me, and then Christy from Christy's Crafty Cottage. Today's Crafter's Choice, so we are just kind of doing what we're feeling, which is fabulous for me because I have design team projects to work on, and that allows me to work with some of these beautiful digitals. No message from her. She's usually busy until 9. Yeah, so I figured I'll just hang out, and she might not have even seen your message that you're not feeling well until she checks in. So, okay, so when I glue my lace down like this and it has all these little buttonholes, I like to, once it's dry, run my fingers back over it a couple of times and get all those little, I use hot glue. If you don't use hot glue, don't do this, but get all those little glue, bubbly things out of there. Sharon, I saw your live on Facebook, and I was like, oh no, she got Fabri-Tac, because I said, oh no, because I know you get headaches. And you were just saying, I think it was yesterday, your live yesterday, you're going to use the stinky glue. I was like, oh, she must have got the Fabri-Tac. I cannot use that stuff because it does, the smell is just crazy. I don't know why. I couldn't remember why, if that was the reason why I didn't use it or not. And oh, what dorks. So one day, people were saying, don't use Fabri-Tac. It smells terrible. And I was like, I don't remember if that's the reason why I don't use Fabri-Tac or not. So my daughter and I, my youngest daughter and I, were already in Joann's, and I went, I want to see what does it smell like. So they have it at Joann's. So there we are in the middle of the paper crafting area, opening glue and smelling it in the store. And I went, oh my gosh. Okay, first of all, yes, confirmed. The smell is why I don't use that stuff anymore. But we need to close this up and not do this anymore. People are going to think we're like huffing in the store or something. So if you saw us, we were not doing anything bad. We were merely trying to decide if I could tolerate the smell of that glue for its gluing uses. Yeah, don't sniff the glue. Oh gosh. I realized, I was like, oh, there's other people in the store. They probably think we're doing something not good. And now they're all closing. Retail ruin. I'm so sad. 80 years they've been in the craft store business. Joann Fabrics is who I'm talking about here in the United States. And at first, they filed bankruptcy, and at first they were going to close more than half of their stores, but not all. And then they were bought by, I believe, a liquidator, and they don't want to keep any of the stores open. So now they will all be closing. And when I was last in there, I was asking if they're, they have any dates of like when they'll be done by. And the lady said they're just trying to get merchandise out of all of their warehouses and try to sell what they can. So she said she doesn't know yet. But the initial sell prices were really not all that great. They were 20% off. They discontinued their Smiles Reward program. And I don't believe you're allowed to use any gift cards now. So fortunately, I was able to use mine for my birthday before they shut that off. And no other coupons are able to be used, even though they still keep sending them out in emails. I think that's what's driving me nuts. Like, shut off your automated emails. I know they're automated, but like, turn them off. Don't be telling me about all kinds of doorbuster sales if when you get there you can't use them. Yeah. So sad. Oh, seriously, Sharon. Yeah, I have video footage of, I used to go into Joann's every week. I was dropped off there for a little while, and I could shop by myself for just a couple of hours, which, as a blind lady who doesn't really go anywhere by herself, that's saying a lot. But I knew the store layout. I knew some of the people that worked there, so it was just kind of a safe place. And every single week, I would see handfuls of people leaving with nothing because they did not have the items out and stocked that people were looking for. And I got to know, when you frequent the store that much, you get to know some of the people that work there. And the one lady said, oh, we have the merchandise. It's in the back of the store in boxes. And when I walked around, I was like, oh my gosh, there's towers of boxes taller than me. And they weren't being given the hours to put the product on the floor. Well, if you don't even have scissors, how are people supposed to buy what they need? Yeah, so, and I mean, they're blaming online sales, and I'm sure they do lose some of their sales to online stuff. But honestly, if you don't have stuff out for people to buy, they can't spend money. So there's that. Okay, I'm looking for eyelets to decide how I want to. I think I'm going to do a slipped spine here with 2 signatures, which is typically what I do. Yeah, and so people would be leaving, you know, they would say, oh, one lady, I saw her, she was leaving and coming back to the same aisle. And I was like, are you trying to find something? And she's like, yeah, I'm just looking for scissors. And I was like, well, you might check over in the sewing area, but as far as over here in paper crafts, you're in the right area. They just don't have them out. So, I mean, to the point of where it would look like the store was closing because they just didn't have merchandise out. Yeah. So much stock in the back. Still, one woman you talked to had a friend who worked in corporate and said it was just mismanagement. Seriously, yeah. Yeah, I will miss them very much. I don't ever remember a time when there wasn't a Joann's. And here, that is, I think, Sharon, you must be speaking to me. I'm going to do these lavender eyelets because I think they just will match very pretty. We're tuning into some spring vibes here. There's that one. There's this one. Okay. There we go. Yay! Yeah, we had, our store typically had a manager and an associate working at all times. And for a while, they only had one manager. So there wasn't like a day and a night manager. And so they would close early. Because one manager was trying to be the manager for everywhere. And so if you had a bunch of people in there getting fabric or something, then there was nobody else to like check people out and like, oh, what a nightmare. And then they would say, you know, well, paper crafts just aren't selling like they used to. Well, if you don't have product out on the floor, people can't buy your paper crafting stuff. Okay, so typically what I do here, I want to put 2 eyelets fairly close together, or fairly close to the end is what I mean. And I want to set my little depth guide to lock in here so that I can put the other one at the same spot. So I haven't punctured the hole yet, but I'm kind of holding the handle closed. And then we'll twist this. If you have a newer crocodile, you'll have a little black piece of plastic right here that will slide along. This is the original model. I love it. Okay, so now, there we go. And then I sometimes see where this measuring little spikes are. I kind of line that up with the edge, and that gives me just a little gap. So again, measuring without measuring, and I don't think I want it down that far. Okay, let's open this back up a little bit. I've been having even more problems with my eyes, so please excuse my slowness. And the fact I have to do things 2 or 3 times sometimes just because. Just because. All right, here we go. Okay, and then, so now that we have that depth guide set, it will allow us to put it in the same depth as our other hole here. And they'll be mostly straight this way, like so. And I wanted to stay fairly close to the end out here, but not being like right on the edge, and still giving myself a little bit of gap for the creases of the book there. So then we're going to turn it around and do the same thing again. And we kind of want to line up, we kind of want our holes to be lined up down here in the same area. So one way you can do that if you're not very good at eyeballing, you can use a little template like this. And oh, look at that. How is that for being pretty darn good? I just about got it lined up. Okay, and then, so then when you do your one holes like this, then you can turn it around like this and do your other holes down here. That's funny. Even a blind lady can kind of eyeball it. Okay. And if you notice there, my paper did just crack. That's okay. I'm going to put some ink there, and I may wind up putting lace over here before the book is done. So some of the things that start to happen when you're doing construction are just that. They're just construction pains, and it'll be okay. Okay, I think these ones might be a little closer together, but that's all right. It's a handmade project, totally okay. Now, if you'll remember right, we changed the settings to do those wide eyelets to C2 instead of C3, and C2 will still work for your 3/16 larger eyelets just fine. So sometimes I will leave it on C2 just because it's already there and it doesn't really matter. But it does give you a little softer squeeze for some of those delicate shaped eyelets or the wider ones like we did on the tag there. And look at that lavender. I think that looks just really good against that vintage ledger. And we're going to go ahead and squeeze both of those. And again, you're not squeezing so hard that you break them or bend your project or any of that. You just want to give it a good squeeze, enough to set the eyelet. And if you squeezed it hard enough, they should curl like this just about perfectly every time. Like I can run my hand over that. That's great. Oops, what did that say? Lavender is beautiful. Yes, I love it too. I love it with that turquoise and the blue. Oh, Christy said stay on as long as I like. All right, well, we'll hang out for a little while longer. I don't know that I really had any more plans for this book just yet, as far as just getting kind of the paper out and playing and getting it to where I could put some pages in. So, hey, there she is. There's Christy. You're loving it. Okay. So I always try to make sure I've taken care of my spine in this phase before I move on to putting pages in there. And by my spine, I mean the inside here too. Yeah, those are a little bit closer here than up here, but that's okay. Making sure I take care of this part here. I want to make sure it's covered. I want to make sure that it's the same depth, and that includes if you use an altered book or if you've gutted a book or if you're doing hardcover or softcover, whatever. I just try to make sure all of this construction is done before I put my pages in, because it can be a little bit tricky to do it underneath your pages as you go along. Not that it can't be done, but it's just save yourself the struggle and try to do some of that in this stage. Okay. Now pieces like this that we cut off make really cute, like if you needed to cover this corner, you could easily do that, or you can put it there to put little photo corners or things later. So, okay, let's see about some, I think I have some purple elastic. Let's see if I can find it. I did, it's right there. So this one is actually just from the Dollar Tree. Crafter Square. And I like to use elastic when I'm doing this slip spine because it's stretchy and it really allows you a little bit of wiggle room to get the pages to stay in there. Oh, what kind of a knotted up mess do I have going here? Nothing out of the ordinary, unfortunately. Okay, and I think this one, this is thinner. This is, what does it say? 5 yards, so it doesn't tell you the width of it or the gauge of it, but it's really small. You can see that. And so sometimes I like to double that up. So I'm going to go through and double it. Now we want the strings to be on the inside, but not on the outside, at least for this type of binder. Keep everything. That's right. You know, there comes a point though. I had been keeping packaging like this noodle box, and so I would break them down like this and have them laying flat, and I had them in a drawer, and then I had the drawer is full, so then I had them in a box. The box got full, so then I had them in a bag. The bag got full, and I mean you can see where I'm going. And finally, there just becomes a point where we get more packaging than I could keep up with in crafting. So I had to part with some of them, and just know there will be more. And if you have to recycle some of them, it's not the end of the world. It'll be okay. I promise. There will be more. Okay, so you can see I kind of went up and then around and down, and now we're going to do it again, and hopefully I can hold it tight. So when I use this thin little cord, I like to do that. And notice I did not cut my elastic off the spool just yet, because I'm a frugal binder here. I don't like to pull 3 yard lengths of it out and then waste a bunch of it, because I mean, yes, this is from the dollar store, but I still don't like to waste it if I don't have to. Okay, so up we go again. And remember, you're gonna pull it tight, so you're gonna have way more than you need anyways once you get done here. Come on. Okay, so follow that same route and everything will be doubled. And through here. Did I make it? I did. Okay. And then here's where you feel like you kind of need 4 or 5 or 6 hands, even though you only have one. Okay, so what we're going to do, this is the end where we started. And this is the end where we just came from. So we're going to try and pull it tight and hold on to it. Pull it tight and hold on to it. And then when we get down here, we're going to cut, and then we're going to put this through, and we're going to tie. So we will still have a little extra. So don't cut yourself too much extra, because you will have plenty. And even though I do it this way, I still waste some. And I mean, that's okay. You can use the little scrappy bits to make a little charm, or throw them away and move on with your day. It'll be okay. All right, let's put this out of our way. That box, I have all my binding strings and threads in there, and I need to let it be a bigger box. Okay, back up through this hole. See, and then when I get right here, there's just going to be this extra looseness. And we want to pull it as tight as we can, because we want this to be nice and sturdy. So I'm going to go ahead and just tie it like this. And then you can move that knot to wherever you want. If you want this knot to be kind of in the middle, kind of at the bottom, kind of at the top, it doesn't really matter. You can move it wherever you want. So we're just tying this one string. We're not tying this string to that string or any craziness, just keeping it simple. Just a little square knot, right over left, left over right, or whatever I just did. I don't know. I might do it the same way every time when I tie. I don't know. I just tie a little knot, and it's okay. Okay, there we go. And see all this extra that I have, it's inevitable. It happens. And if you're going to do a tassel or a dangle, you might want to move this to the top, if that's where you hang your tassels on your book. And then this elastic can actually hold like a strand of beads. So let's see, where's our top? Our top is over here, so we can scooch this around and just do it very gently. Pull the strands, and then you can feed these 2 little extra strands back through the hole. And then, like I said, if you're going to hang a dangle or some beading or some charms or whatever, those can come right out there, and you can use this elastic for that as well. So then you're not wasting like as much. Okay, so close this part up. That's okay, Christy. She'll be back. She better get ready. Yeah, that's right. Wait a moment. We are getting a Dollar Tree in Burnsville. Oh, that's great. See, we don't have here on I don't know if it's just in Washington. It must be, I don't know about if it's still that way in Oregon. I'm from Oregon, but I don't really hang out there as much as we used to. But we don't have Dollar General. You guys have them like everywhere, and we don't have that here. Okay, I'm still thinking my closure is just going to be a little silk tie around that'll look like this. So I don't need to punch out any other holes or anything else. So that'll be great. Now we need to figure out pages or maybe cut out ephemera. It's almost a book. It's almost what I would call a book. We have pages, but it doesn't have them in it yet. So these are just ephemera sheets. And then these are more of those beautiful vintage ledger pieces. And what do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can have 2 of those in each signature. Okay. And then I'll probably put an envelope in each signature. And probably these ones. And I have this style envelope sitting here. Oops, this is still on. No, okay, I turned it off. Good. Oh, did I stick that? Oh my goodness, I'm a mess, guys. A mess. Here we go. Okay, so we have a bag. Ooh, this bag really goes well with this here, but I think I may put this, I will use a piece of washi or a little hinge and put that so it flips out, and we can hopefully have it be, is it too wide? Oh, it is too wide. We'll have to cut it, but that's okay. We can keep the whole bag length instead of folding it in half like this. Okay. And we've got one of those. And of course, I have one of these that it got wet. And so my sticky is trying to sticky to everything. And here's where some of these scraps will come in handy that we cut. Like this. This will be good. You can put this on, covering up some of these extra things, even if it means just doing a little collage. Oh, that's a little file folder, so we can also include this. Okay, so this is kind of what I do in my process. I start getting things ready. I also don't have these backed with anything just yet. Which, you can coffee dye them. You could, it's a little late to coffee dye them at this point because I have print on one side, but we could still ink splatter them or spray them or just cover them up with some other paper. And if we cover them up with some other paper, that will also add a little thickness as well. So that can be good. And it'll give it some kind of fun texture too, because it'll be a little thicker and have that extra glue in there. Okay, so I'm going to fold these now, but then we'll have to figure out our height as well. You can also, like when you fold this way, see how I just fold those together? You can also fold this way so that this pattern is on the inside. I think this is going to be the inside of the signature. So when we open it up, it will be this beautiful pattern here, which is very lovely. I love it. Okay. And 2 signatures, which means 2 groupings of paper because we have 2 strings here. So this is going to hold one set and this is going to hold the other. So if you're new to junk journaling, signatures are just like chapters in a book. It's like a collection of papers, groupings of papers, however you want to call them. Which one do I want? Yeah, it doesn't really matter. We'll fold this one like this. I also love that these ledgers have what looks like to be the vintage tape. I'll show you here in just a second, which is just like the Tim Holtz ideology tape. I just bought some more of it. So like these, you can also make these yourself with alcohol ink. Okay, but see how right here, like it looks like there is tape there or something. I love that. Of course, these are digital papers. They're not vintage. So not trying to pretend I'm using something that I'm not really using. But I love how if you don't have access to vintage things, or you don't want to go out and hunt antique stores or whatever the case may be, you can still use beautiful vintage things, which is great. Okay, so that's going to be those. I like my signatures. They can be similar but different, but I like them to have about the same amount of things. And this spine, I think these are a 1.5 inch spine, I want to say. So I don't like to go too many signatures over however many inches that I have. Yeah, this is 1.5. So, 1.5, I could maybe go up to 2 or signatures, maybe 3, depending on how many I was going to put in there. But I really don't like to keep those numbers too far off, because then you'll just get really big and gatory, at least with the way that I embellish. Okay. And what's cool with a slipped spine is, even if you don't have all of the things that you're planning to put in here just yet, it's okay. You can just start to prepare, and you can add them in later. So now, one thing to keep in mind too, when we are getting our stuff ready here, is that we want to be able to have our pages cut down so that it fits from eyelet to eyelet. So we don't have the full width of the spine anymore when you do this way. Unless if you do this little trick that I've seen people do, they put a little slit right here. I personally don't like to do that, because then the more you turn the pages and as time goes on, it just rips and tears, and before you know it, you've got pages falling out. So I personally don't do it that way. It's not wrong to do it that way. I just haven't had good luck doing it that way. So I do it this way. I try to make all my pages so that they will fit in between those eyelets. Okay. So again, you could measure, or we can just trim. My trimmer is down here somewhere. I think it's in the bag. It is. I have one of these reusable shopping bags. My husband hates these because I have them all over the house. Where I like try and pack things and carry things around, and sometimes I just buy things and I don't get a chance to put them away, so they're still in the bag. Oh. Spring cleaning has been happening now. It's good. With Alyssa moving out and all kinds of things, there's just been lots of opportunities to go through things, and we have a friend of ours that comes to help us here, to help me. And I was able to clear out 7 bags of clothes from my closet, so that was a good start. I'm not done, but it was a good start. Okay, and then these can be used as smaller pages, or you can use them to like back your tags in ephemera, or to make tags in ephemera. Look at how beautiful this is. Don't throw this away. Okay, and then we can double check if this size is going to work. Just slip this in here like so. And I always still laugh every time I do this, because I remember I was so opinionated when I first saw this spine. I thought, that ain't gonna work. All your papers are gonna come flying out of there. That's gonna be such a waste of time. I'm not gonna hold it at all. It does. Eat your words, Shauna. It does. It works just fine. Everything stays in there. Nothing's falling out. It's all good. Okay. So now we just need to decide if we want these to go all the way to the edge. And sometimes what I do with these is I'll go to the back here. And instead of trimming this off right away, I will just fold it, because then I can decide later if I want it to be a folded page like this, if I want it to be a pocket, if I need this extra surface area right here to play with. I still have it. If I don't want it later, I can take it off. So it's kind of like, you know, once you cut it, you can't bring it back, although you can, because we're talking about paper and glue here, folks. We can add a hinge, we can add some glue, we can do a lot more things. Like, it's not like hair, you know, you can't glue your hair back on, but it'll be okay. We can do it. So instead of folding this one up, I might fold it this way. So this way, I still want them to be this way though. So I'm just gonna tuck it like this first, and then I can turn it around. And again, like I said, you can simply cut this off if you don't want to do it this way. You can cut your paper down to the right length to fit, have all your pages. You can add pockets and things later as you go along. That works too. I just have found that a lot of times when I start working on the pages, I keep thinking, oh, if I would have just kept this extra there, I could have had a cute little pocket, or I could have had a cute little flip, or yeah, so now I typically just leave it and allow myself to have that little bit of extra freedom time to get things going the way that they're supposed to go. Okay, and sometimes, you know, it doesn't even have to be that much of an edge. It can just be a little extra decorative edge. So like if I wanted to put this here, flipped like this, and then I wanted to put like some sort of a solid color paper or something right here, that's totally fine too. I just got a little extra sturdiness on this paper. If you don't need the extra bulk, like I said, no worries, just cut it off. But it is kind of fun if you have a little flip out like this. Okay, and then just to double check that we are the right length here. It's like right on the edge, but that's okay. All right, then we can do that with the other signature pieces. And again, every page that you put in our junk journal math, every page that you put into a signature gives you 4 pages. And you're like, how does it give you 4? Well, because you have the front side, the inside to the front side, the inside to the back side, and the back side. And that's just by putting in 1 paper. So you're going to have space. I promise you. I remember when I was first making these books, I thought, no, I need 1,000,000 pages because I have 1,000,000 things I want to put in this book. And yeah, doesn't always work out that way. I would kind of like that little file folder to fit in that pocket. Let's see if we can give ourselves a little extra room. Release some of this glue. Now, if you're doing this using a bone folder to release some of the glue that you've already got glued down to give yourself more pocket room, see how that indentation right here is really pressing. You can rip your paper there if you're not careful. So just do it cautiously. And that again is just, you know, to kind of widen your pockets and allow for some things to fit in there. It's not going to go all the way because I glued kind of crazy. So that's not going to work there. Bummer. We can put it on somewhere else though. It could go in even as a little page. That is what's nice about these. Little slip spines. We can decide if we want some smaller pages. And I think I'm gonna do one of these envelopes going this way. Like so. As a page as well. And these could be a pocket up here, so you can just slice this piece right here off, and this can be a pocket on this side. And then on this one, you can have a little pocket on this side. If you don't want this, you can cut it off or tuck it in there. Or it can be a little flip-flap, however it goes. So let's see. Let's put this. I think I want this to go in here. And as you're working along on your pages, if you change your mind and you need to move things, It's not the end of the world with this type of spine. You have lots of possibilities and freedom to do whatever is best for your book. Okay, and I think that one needs to close like that. And this is just a little bit long. So if I start to work with this, if I want to work with the flap or whatever, I might pull it in just a little bit like this and retrain this fold so that it fits in my book just a little bit better. And you know, if I want to use this as a top loading pocket, I can simply just glue this down and glue over it, or I can just cut it right off if I want to use a side pocket. If I still want the little flippy, I can still have a top loading pocket here. I might actually cut some of this off if I were to do that. And then this could be a flip flap either way, but still bending it down just a little extra to make sure that it fits into my book. And if you keep doing that as you're working along, it'll kind of keep you straight as far as when things go. Because watch this, if you're working laying flat like you can with these slip spine books, you think you have ample room over here, but your spine, when you close the book, actually makes the pages move to the right just a little bit. See? There it goes. And then before you know it, you're hanging over and you have extra that you don't want. Or maybe you do. Sometimes, you know, you might want a little extra room, so you have trim hanging out and all the things. If you don't, that's how you can get rid of it. Oh, good, Leah. I'm glad you're liking the tutorial. I always like to explain what I'm doing as I go along so people understand the whys and how to make their own. Okay, and since we have left these little flip-flops in here, we could always make that be our hinge, and this paper could glue onto this bag right here. And then we could have a fun little flip. We might have to cut the bag down a little bit to fit in the rest of our book, or fold it, crease it, whatever. But there's possibilities when you leave those little flaps, and I love that. Love it. Okay, so let's put our other signature ready to go. And kind of look at your papers and see, because we're going to cut a pretty good chunk off. Like this is the chunk that's coming off. You know, sometimes the papers might have something really pretty at the bottom that you don't want to lose. This one has more flowers down here. This one doesn't. Yeah, I think I might keep the bottom this time on this one. And then I'll have those numbers to use for something else somewhere else. Aw, thanks, girls. Okay, I think we're just gonna cut right there. And it should work good. Okay, again, I'm not a very straight cutter, so I use a trimmer. I use my old trusty faithful trimmer. This is the one I started out with, and I changed all kinds of different trimmers. I used a million different ones because I'd go to a crop and go, oh my gosh, so-and-so had the cutest pink trimmer. I've got to have it. And I get it home and it didn't quite work like this one. So then I'd switch back and then I'd go somewhere else, or I'd see on a commercial this other more beautiful one or this other one that did this or that. I still don't have like the perfect trimmer for me. I wish I could talk to some people to create a very accessible trimmer, but I always switch back to this old faithful one for doing just this kind of trimming. If I'm trying to measure, this one does not work for me really at all now because I can't see. Oscar, it's okay, buddy. I'm in here. Another beautiful book. Thank you. Yeah, you know, it's easy to create beautiful things when you start with beautiful paper and supplies. So, you know, everybody has their own idea of what is beautiful and what is pleasing to the eye and all the things, but I love these beautiful digitals, and I am not above putting them in my books. Some people don't like making junk journals with digitals because it's not junk, but you know, it's still paper, and it's paper from our time. I guess eventually, if we turn to a totally digital world, they might think that our paper products are junk because they want clean, minimalistic, digital things. I personally love anything tangible that I can hold in my hands. I'm a very tactile person. I like to see the colors and feel the textures and see the patterns. And a lot of times I have to do that really closely. So on my phone, there's so many accessible things you can do with your phones these days. But I'm able to zoom in and turn the darkness down so that it's, or the brightness down so that it works for me, and zoom in, and there's apps and all kinds of things you can do for accessibility, which is great. It used to be one piece of junk and then it's a junk journal. Well, I started out with a throwaway box for my cover, so I already have junk. And everybody has their own definition of junk, but what I remind people of is, one, just don't judge, and two, there's no rules in junk journaling, so that allows it to be, if you want to use digitals, use digitals. If you don't, then don't. If you want to use all junk, then great. If I used to own a scrapbooking store, so I have a million papers of scrapbook papers, and a lot of times I'll try to feed in one or two of those and some cardstock for strengthening some of these printer pages. And I guess depending who you talk to, those might be considered junk these days, because scrapbooking is just not as big as it used to be. So I always say too to don't be afraid to use what you have, because that's what you have, so use it. I'm trying to convince myself of that too, that it's not too beautiful to put in my project. If I want my project to be beautiful, I need beautiful things, right? But I kind of hoard things because I know, like, once I get to the bottom of this brand of paper, there is no more, because they are out of business, and they've been out of business. A lot of the scrapbooking manufacturers went out years ago, and it just broke my heart. So I kind of hoard some of those papers in what I call my paper museum, but they're doing me no good if they're stuck away in a closet and I'm not using them. So I'm trying to use them. I convince myself that it's okay. It's okay to use some of these things, even though they're not being manufactured anymore. It'll be okay. All right, so let's see how we're doing here on our edges. It's okay. You have to decide for yourself how much you want to hang out here. Right now, we're not going to ruin anything if we put our closure back on. I'm all about functionality. I want it to be able to function, and I don't want it to be too complicated. So if I put my ribbon closure on here, is it going to bend the pages or like ruin them or whatever? The answer right now is not really. This one envelope that's hanging out here kind of needs to be trimmed, and I think I might cut it on the side anyways so that it's like a little pull out and I have a tab, so I'll be cutting some of that off and it'll be okay. But I think this one right here, I want to be just a little bit shorter, and right now with these little edges on here, it's no problem to change the size right now. Just give it a little deeper fold. And I'm okay that they're not all the same size. If you want to take your pages out, measure them perfectly, fold them so that they're all exactly the same, you go right ahead. I'm okay that they're a little bit different. In fact, sometimes I really like some of the pages to be a little more uneven, because then you'll be able to, when you're looking at this page, you'll be able to see this page and this page and this page and whatever trims you put on here. I like to use a lot of ribbons and laces in my books, so that way when you do look at it from the side profile like this, you're able to see a lot of different textures. And that's kind of the mixed media part of junk journaling, is that you might see lace or fabric or ribbon or paper or heck, you might see metal or charms or beads. You just don't know what you're going to see, and I think that's so cool. Okay, and then I want to look at it again from back here. Am I still good? I think I want this one to tuck just a little bit more too. Okay. And then, you know, with this folded like this, we can ink this area here because it's not very big. We could spray it, we could whatever. We could put other paper in there, whatever we want to do, glue this down, and we've got a little pocket right here. So this isn't going to waste. Or, like I said, you know, if you want to back it with some other paper, it can be this way. We could also put it back through the printer and print on this side as well. So then you have a pattern back there without adding more weight. No shopping. Remy, no. So, you know, you can print on these too. You can print, you can ink, you can paint, you can put them with some other colored something. Okay. I think all of those pages are about how I'm happy with them. Again, like I said, we can see this envelope is sticking out here, but I'm going to trim a good portion of that off. In fact, let's just do it now. Go ahead and then that'll become a pocket. Now you could make it a pocket at the top, so you could just slice right here. You could make it a pocket at the side. I mean, I guess if you really wanted to make a pocket at the bottom, you could, but pocket at the bottom, sometimes things slip out. I don't have very good luck with those top tucks or things like that. Okay, so we're just going to cut a little bit here. Ah, it moved. Don't move. There we go. Okay, so then we'll find this back where it was. Was it right there? Sure, why not? Okay, and then take a look at that again and see now our envelope is nicely tucked in there, and we still actually have a little bit of room so that when we get this covered with some paper, we could put a little bit of lace trim over here, some ribbon trim, fabric trim, whatever we want to do for trim, and it'll still have some room. And everything is nicely tucked into that cover as far as being protected there. This one maybe could do to be a little bit more as well. But you have to remember your pages are going to move just a little bit as well. In a slipped spine, they're not stitched in. They are designed to be movable so that you can slip them in and out. If you're doing a writing journal, you can, feel free to write and then replace the pages if you want to continue using the same journal. This is also a good style of book to do if you are somebody who's maybe new and you're going, well, I don't have a lot of stuff. But I'm going to hold off and not do a journal because I don't have all the stuff. Don't do that. The hardest thing in a junk journal is to get started. So start working on the cover. Like maybe you collect a book that you want to use and repurpose. Maybe you find the right packaging. And then, maybe you find I want to do this color or this theme or whatever. Then you start collecting. But in here, with this kind of a spine, you can easily add in pages. You can add in music pages if that's what you want to do. You can add in digitals. You can add in more junk. Maybe you have some book pages or some ledger pages that are beautiful. I think I am going to print a few more of these pages and fill them in here and maybe do a couple solids too so that it just has a nice balance of color. But you can see all I had was 4 digital pages, and a couple of envelopes that I've tucked in here. And we've already got a pretty thick looking book without much else in there. It looks like there's a lot in there, but there's really not. So yeah, so now I would officially call this a book now because it has a cover and it has a bunch of pages. So we're doing good. Thanks, Phyllis. Yeah, these are fun. I love this. I haven't made a noodle box book in a while, but this is a really great size. So maybe you don't eat mac and cheese. Maybe you're not a Kraft mac and cheese kind of girl. I personally love it. I love the homemade kind of mac and cheese too. I think I just like mac and cheese. My husband does not like Kraft mac and cheese. But anyways, ask somebody you know if you have, or maybe there's something else you eat that it's a similar size. Rice or roni. What else is kind of similar to this? I don't know. There's lots of things. I have some medications that have come in a box kind of like this. Or just cut a box down so that it's this size. Let's get a measurement here. It works out to be 3.5 by, I think it's 7. Yeah, 7 and a little, and then a 1.5-inch spine. So, you know, you can just kind of make some cardboard into this size, and it works really great. It's almost, I guess, kind of tall skinny, right? Not as tall and skinny as some of the Traveler's notebooks, but yeah, it is fun. I like this size. I like working with this size. Okay, and then down here where we have some of this unevenness, I could use some of this sticky tape and just tape it there so it looks like it's supposed to be like that. Maybe it was just that way by design. Or, of course, we can continue to just layer over. I'm going to cut out some of these. I think I'm going to back these. When I put tags into the book, I don't like it to be just printer paper because it is a little bit on the thin side. And sometimes they just kind of move around. So I like to back these either with some cardstock or, oh, that pink is really pretty. Or some other book page or something like that. Let's see if we have some of that teal. I'm really enjoying these blue colors coming out. I think that one's beautiful. Let's do that. Now this is just a little 6x6 pad. Again, it's what I have in my stash here, so we're going to use what I have. And this contrast with the craft and these papers, they're all kind of matching together. It's kind of funny. I'm like, ooh, that looks kind of nice. So this is a fun collection to work with as far as bringing out some colors. Like, look at that. That would even look nice. I guess if you like orange could even work. Lots and lots of possibilities here. But let's go ahead and back some of these tags. And we'll get them cut out. I don't really have too much more of a plan beyond this because I just kind of thought I would get my book started, do a cover, get the pages in, and see where we're going. And that usually takes me about an hour or more. So time-wise, being realistic and not just TV magic, I've already spent some time printing and planning and downloading. So those steps do take a little bit of time too. And then, of course, I've made this style before, so I can probably do that in my sleep. But if you are new and haven't made this kind before, it might take you a little bit of extra time. That's okay. I know some people like to rush through the journal making process. I don't. I'm fairly fast, but I've noticed that I don't like to finish them because then I have to figure out what they're going to do. Are they for someone? Do I have to gift them away? Do I sell them? Do I keep them? What do I do with them? And if they're not finished, I can say, well, they have to stay because I'm not done. And then that leads to where I'm at now with lots and lots of boxes of books. I have totes and boxes of books. And I just keep making more because that's what I love to do. I am really more of a book maker than a book user. I guess maybe less of a journaler and more of a book maker. I do like sometimes to make books that are very personal, so they will have pictures of my people or recipes from my family or little notes that I've collected or things like that. But I think more often than not, a lot of the books that I make are, I just had to make them. I just had to get out the art that was in my heart. So out they come. And it's funny because then I get questions. Some people send me messages. Oh, is this one for sale? Sometimes I had one Alice book that I haven't even done a flip through of yet, but it was literally being made as a teaching tool to teach my private group. And I was using all kinds of designer things and expensive things, and because I wanted to show how this works or how that interactive thing works or how we do this or how we do that or whatever. And it was just kind of an ongoing project. We'd been working on it for several weeks, and I wasn't really making it thinking of any kind of cost. I was just using the things what I had and that. And then when I added it all up to think about a price, I was like, oh my gosh, nobody's gonna want to pay this. Oh, thank you, Diana. Hi, didn't see you come in. Did you get your eyelets set the other day? I hope you did. Or they weren't eyelets, they were snaps. It took me a minute to look at your photo. Snaps can be a little bit tricky to work with. Okay. So I think this is going to be another beautiful way to cull out that blue, kind of teal or turquoisey blue that's in these. You did. Okay, that's great. Okay. I got to get my invoices done for my private group. I'm just behind. I'm behind. I feel like where did February go? Let alone now we're at the beginning of the month. There we go. Okay, so see, I love this call out here, and this is textured cardstock, but you still could put a photo back here. You could put some kind of a quote, or depending on what you plan to use this book for, you could do any number of things. You could do some collage work on here, and I'm just going to go through. Since I used this kind of glue and didn't spread it around, make sure I got all my edges nice and glued. Sometimes I think this would be what a glue stick would be perfect for. Or if you plan to do some stitching, just go around those edges and stitch it in there. And the stitching also looks really great on this textured cardstock. Now, some of these I do just throw away. It's really sad because this paper you can't get anymore. It's a craft core. It's the Tim Holtz coordinations, and they don't make these pads anymore. But like I said, I've got to learn to use them because they're not doing me any good just piling around here collecting dust. And I love working with them. I love the feel of the texture. I love the way that they look. Especially in combination with these digital papers. They just look really great. I am not used to using this big of scissors. I kind of like it, actually. Although I'm not trying to do any delicate, fussy cutting. So this is good. I can just do some basic cuts. Tomorrow, I will be, I think we're going to be on my page for Thursdays with Friends. We have March Madness planned. Oh no, I don't know if we're going to be on my page or if we're going to be in that new group. Tam, I'm kind of lost for the details. Help me out. Okay. And then we'll toss these ones out. Did this one? Nope, that one didn't get backed yet. Okay. But that's pretty great. I can at least get these two bigger ones on there. And then these little tags can also become pages if you want to make a hinge and make them have a flap. Or they can just be journaling cards. And I think there's also some pockets. Now I won't use this craft cardstock for the pockets because we'll have a really hard time creasing it. They'll be nice and sturdy, but we'll have a hard time creasing it through. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and trim a little bit of this off. I think Tamara said she was going to see if Dennis would let her watch while they were eating. So hi Dennis, if you're watching, thank you. Time zone difference can be a little bit of a struggle for some of us. So I'm on the West Coast, we're in Pacific Standard Time, and for me right now, I think it's just five something. But for everybody else, it's well into their evening and supper time and all the things. So thank you so much for tuning in, sharing this time with me. I greatly appreciate it. I would absolutely love it if you hit the thumbs up and subscribe and hit the bell so you know when I go live, and do the same thing for my collective sisters here, my Christy from Christy's Crafty Cottage and Leah from Make All the Things With Me. Okay, I'll put this one here on the edge as much as I can. And we could save this little strip of paper. Maybe we need a little belly band or a little trim. So that's why I kind of trim this out just a little bit so I can see if I can salvage something. So there, now we have like a little strip. You could make a little edge or something out of this piece. At least it's a little more usable scrap than just this little tiny edge down here. So try to think about things like that when I am creating my scraps and cutting. Try to be more paper sparing if I can, even though currently I have an abundance of it, but I think I have more paper than I will ever use in my whole lifetime. But I did just learn, it came up on my feed. I don't follow this lady, but she's obviously a Stampin' Up consultant. And she said, I think she said in May, all of their cardstock is going to be going up. So if you are somebody who likes Stampin' Up paper, sounds like it's a good time to contact your consultant and or find one and get some of those papers, because they are great papers. I have a ton of it. I got a bunch from a lady who was no longer crafting and no longer selling Stampin' Up, and she had an amazing collection of cardstock, and we bought all of it. So I have more cardstock than I will ever need. Even though I'm still going, okay, if Joann's has some really good going out of business sales on their Basil cardstock that was always open stock, I might need to buy some of that because I love Basil. Basil's always been like one of my favorites. I just love paper, guys. Yep. Yes, you love their cardstock. Yeah, what I heard what they're going to be doing is I didn't hear that. I'm not affiliated with Stampin' Up. I haven't checked my source or anything. Just came up in my feed, and I don't have any reason to disbelieve this lady. But of course, do your own homework. I heard they're going to be shrinking their pack size on the bulk paper, like of white, and I think they do black that way as well. I think they used to be like 40 in a pack, and now they're going to go down to like 12 or 20 or something. They're going to shrink the size, and the price is going to go up. And I heard that's happening come May. So now, like I said, I haven't checked that fact, so just take it as a thought. And if it's something that you use, check it out. Check it out with your consultants or friends that are consultants or whatever. So yeah, it sounds like it's going to be pretty major. So that's why I mention it, just because if it affects you, it's nice to know that it's going to happen. Okay, see, and then these tags are nice. We can ink these. We can do whatever we want to do to make them fit in with the style. And then they're a lot more sturdy too. Now, you can print on thicker cardstock, but sometimes, like I love that this is blue, and if I print on blue, then this brilliance will be changed by the color of your cardstock. So that's why sometimes you'll still see people print on bright white and glue it onto cardstock. So yeah, I haven't obviously ordered from them in a very long time, because like I said, we bought out this lady that was Stampin' Up lady, and I literally have crates and crates of paper. It's all over my living room, waiting to move into Alyssa's old room. And I was just like, wow, I won't need to buy any, thank goodness, because like everything else in the world, that's going up too. So, and then shipping for paper is always a lot because it's heavy. I used to love it when I had my store and it was cardstock delivery day, because I would open the boxes. Like nobody'd be in the store because usually my deliveries were early. Or if I'd gotten it the night before, I would wait to open it until the next morning. And it was just like having my coffee, you know, that same kind of nostalgia. I would open the box of cardstock and the smell of cardstock would just fill the room. And it was like, oh, just love the smell of cardstock in the morning. The only person who didn't like it was, Mr. Frapps, because usually that meant money had gone out to purchase it in bulk quantities for the store. And the UPS guy who had to deliver these heavy, heavy boxes of paper. So, shout out to my UPS man. Yes, wonderful, isn't it? My kids would always think I was a weirdo because I love the smell of paper. But you don't get that on digital scrapbooking. You don't get that with staying on your computer or your device or whatever, you know. It really is wonderful. And some of those smells can really kind of take you back. So anytime I smell cardstock, I'm like, oh my gosh, I miss my store. I remember that. That's what I would always do. We had one room that was just paper, cardstock and pretty papers. And that was where it would go. And that smell would just fill the air. So wonderful. Okay, so all of these I will back just like so. And Christy, anytime you're ready, let me know because I'm just filling the air. Hanging out. Paper and glue. You think I might have a problem? That's right. Yeah, smells, right? I didn't like the smell of that glue though. Yeah, you know, the smell thing kind of really was enhanced after having my oldest daughter. My smell just intensified. I could smell everything. I could smell lotion being used 3 rooms away. And not because it was a very strong smelling lotion. I just knew. I'm like, oh, those girls. I would be sitting in the living room and go, those girls are into my perfume. And Mr. Frapps would look at me like, how do you know that? I'm like, I can smell it. Oh. Sure enough, I'd call to them, girls, get out of my lotion. Yep. Okay. Speaking of lotion, touching paper does dry out my hands though, and they've been so dry. So we'll take a brief pause for lotion. How's everybody doing? What did you guys have for dinner? Well, I think we're having leftover spaghetti because we had baked spaghetti last night. It was wonderful. I can hear the cat. He's not in peril. Don't worry. He's just trying to figure out where his people are. And he's been in a little bit of a frenzy because things have been moving around the house, and we call it the NRZ is the room that's being changed the most. So the non-REM zone, no Remy, no dog zone, because it has a litter box in there for the cats. And that's where the cats can have their cat toys that the dog doesn't get to chew on and all the things. So it's the non-REM zone. And they are not digging the change. They're very concerned. So Mr. Frapps is building a new bed for the cats because they're losing their heated blankie. I ordered heated bed blankies for them so they can have their heated blankies back because they used to share those things with my daughter, and as that was her room. So they've been very concerned as things have been moving around. And Oscar's like a little worrier. He's got to know where everybody is and what everybody's doing and that he's not alone. Christy's live. Okay, everybody, we're going to head on over to Christy from Christy's Crafty Cottage. She is our hostess for the Artistry Collective. And thank you so much for joining me here this Wednesday. I would love it if you would hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe, do all the things. And I will see you guys next time, next Wednesday. Again, let's head on over to see Christy and see what she's up to at Christy's Crafty Cottage. Thanks, everyone.